Streaming, welcome aboard. It's Sunday morning. The rain is falling. Steal some covers. Share some skin, would you? Please. I am your host this morning. I am Kevin Williams, your KevinlyFather. We were going to cover the Trump rally this morning. Just checking. It looks like we're broadcasting here. But you know what? I haven't watched it. I was busy last night. If you guys want details on how my night went, I'm happy to share. What we're gonna do is we're gonna spill some coffee. We'll just jump around. We'll watch a little bit of what happened last night. Excuse me. We'll sneeze into our elbows, and we'll have a good morning. Let's see if anybody's even here. Are we broadcasting? Are we live? Okay. I see producer Jojo in the chat room. There she is. Okay. So Steph's here. Somebody else is probably here as well. Takes a moment for the software to catch up with everything. So this is Spilling Covfefe. This is the live stream. This is whatever you want to call it. We'll take a look at some highlights. First thing I want to do is test the sound. This is my laptop, and by that I mean producer Marcy sent in her laptop. So we're using that to broadcast. We are at the TBD Studios, which is being sold. So transferring multiple computers and multiple monitors. This morning I said, you know what? We're just gonna use the laptop. It's quick. It's easy. Much like myself. At least that's how I was known in high school. I, I had no game in high school whatsoever. Still don't. Good morning, Ann. Good morning, Allison. Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, Marcy. Good morning, Ruth Ann. We have all the Anns in here this morning. So we'll just kind of jump around. We'll take a look. We'll take a look, see at stuff. We'll watch. Marcy's suggestion was we watch ASIN's highlights from the rally last night. Most of you, some of you watched Hal Sparks last night. If you want to watch the whole thing, go and watch Hal Sparks. Tom is saying something about Hunter's laptop. So, yep. If it was Joe's laptop, I definitely want to know why we're talking about Joe's laptop. But anyway, there you go. Good morning, Colin Jackson's family. Let's take a look here. I have a clip that came up on my Twitter feed. I don't think this is from last night's rally, but let's find out. Booming in our Oh, first off, can you guys hear that? Let me get confirmation from somebody. We are on. Let me just see if I can. Country. Yeah, looks like it's going through to you. I'm going to turn his volume down because this guy's obnoxious. But let me know if you guys can hear him, and if there's a serious echo when I play him. I'll go back and play, and if it sounds okay, then I don't have to find my headphones. I understand several people stole my headphones last night. I don't know who has them now, whom has them, who's has them at. We're good. Okay. Morning, Lynn. So let's play a little Trump here. You can see here in the background here, blacks for Trump. These people are nuts, by the way. If you ever want to go look up Blacks for Trump 2020 or whatever the website is, it's on their shirts. It's racism, Native Americans, because Sacagawea. They are a literal crazy cult. But because they're the only black people who are going to show up at a Trump rally, they get behind him every time they show up. It's just the way it is. Oh, hey, the blacks are here. You guys sit right behind, so it looks like Trump has a bunch of black people in the audience. It's pathetic because if you were anybody else, you would look at their policies. Oh, you got a website on your shirt instead of be right behind our candidate. Let me hold on. You're in K and Sacagawea and the tribal states and Israel. Okay, yeah, you are going to sit in our special spot right down here at the very back, so that when the camera pans the back, you're invisible. But that's not what happens. They get right behind Trump when they show up. So this is. Let's see if you guys can guess when this is from. Jobs are booming in our country. Incomes are soaring. Poverty is plummeting. Confidence. Oh, so this could be just from yesterday. I didn't think it was from last night, but yeah, jobs are booming, the economy is soaring, incomes are plummeting, especially since Biden essentially put an end to childhood poverty, which should be the lead story every day. Hey, people, everyone, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, people who've never cared about politics. If they've got a kid, they're getting an extra $250 so they can feed that kid, even if they're not below the poverty line. Everybody, wow, look at all this money coming into the economy, and the economy's churning along at 6.5% adjusted GDP. Wow, coming out of COVID last year, that's amazing.
Is surging, and we have
no, you don't want to bring toasters to a Trump rally. Ruth Ann commenting there. Did you see the list of things attendees are not allowed to bring? Yeah, you can't bring guns into the rally. You can't bring umbrellas into the rally because they can be used as weapons. You can't bring toast into the rally because, you don't want any competition for Trump.
completely rebuilt the awesome power of a thing called the United States military.
Yeah, awesome power.
And every day for me and for you, it's promises made, promises kept. Every day.
I'm having my morning bran along with my bigly cup of coffee. So if you're the kind of people that can't watch other people's eat, sorry, it's Sunday morning. What are you gonna do? I don't even think that I can do Maroon 5 in the mornings. I don't think it's my voice is all bass. I can't get steal some covers, share some skin. Yeah, no, I can't. Well, normally too. Like I can normally sing that. My friend HB used to say I should do cover bands of Maroon 5. I think he was just being mean. Colin Jackson's family, big power, and have to ask us U.S. airlines to evacuate from Afghanistan. Yeah, well, no, I don't know why more wasn't done for this contingency. Yes, a lot of the intelligence service was like, well, yeah, we've given them 300,000 men. We haven't given them 3. We've given them $50 billion a year, etc. They've got the infrastructure. They're ready to go. Go ahead, government. And the government was like, hey, we're really good. And Trump was like, oh my God, they've got such incredible spirit. But I said that this was going to happen. And I'm way outside I'm not even a kite runner. I'm a kite holder. And I knew this was coming. I didn't know it was coming. I suggested that it was coming. Nobody knows what the future is. Here's some more Trump.
One of the most important promises I made is right to this era.
What? What was that? One of the most important promises I made was right to this era. What?
Promises I made is right to this era. We look at it, it's the never-ending wars in the Middle East.
What? How? If I spoke like that, nobody would take me seriously. Well, people don't take me seriously anyway, so. But why do we take people like this seriously? Why do we take people like him and Kevin McCarthy that just have this verbal kitty litter spewing out all the time? By the way, I did watch the first 2 or 3 minutes of the rally last night. He's getting worse. His reading is getting worse and worse and worse, and it is laughable. It's word by word with no diction from sentence and sentences to sentence. It's like it is worse than 3rd grade reading comprehension class, if that's even a class. It should be. That might be what's missing in American education.
We're taking our.
This is last year, by the way. This is not last night. The clip that we're watching.
Soldiers, we're bringing them back home. We're not law enforcement. We're bringing them back home.
This is last March 2nd is what this is, and this is Trump bragging that he's going to bring the military home.
American troops cannot.
And something about the era. Was he supposed to go off on a rant about the ERA? I don't know where era came from. Typically, I can figure out, oh, he meant to read this, and it was some other word that started with E. No idea. No clue.
Not be the policeman for the world, or to create democracy in other nations that frankly probably don't want it. The job of the American military is to.
The Afghani people, the Afghans, they do want democracy. They did turn up for the election at an amazing rate compared to the United States. Yeah, Afghans do want democracy, but you've got a smaller group of them who have a lot of rifles and now have even more rifles, and they do not want the democracy. They just want an Islamic regime, which Trump has provided for them in the peace agreement, because their leader, who Trump released from prison, Baradar, said at the peace agreement signing, hey, this has paved the way for the Islamic regime. Those are the words he used. He knew that this was giving the Taliban the country. How do we know that for sure? Well, because the Afghan government wasn't there as part of the peace negotiations. That would be like someone occupying the United States and signing a peace agreement with the KKK. It's all yours, guys. And the U.S. government having no. A better example would be with the Confederates. If the British had snuck in there and signed a peace deal with the all right. Hopefully, you guys don't know your history that well.
Secure and defend our country. Two days ago, the United States signed a deal with the Taliban so that after 19 years of conflict, and very close to 20, we can...
Yeah, signed a deal with the Taliban. With the Taliban.
Finally begin to bring our amazing troops back home. After years of rebuilding foreign nations, we are finally rebuilding our nation and taking care of our own American citizens.
All right. Well, that was last year. Let's go to ASIN from last night and see what happened during the rally. Cover that a little bit. And my computer might be being jerky. I don't even know. Here we go. This is from 14 hours ago. So we'll just watch some highlights from last night and or lowlights.
Got 45,000.
Here we go.
It's going to go on for a long time. Taliban, great negotiators. Tough fighters, great negotiators. Got 45,000 people.
But we don't know that there's 45,000 Americans there. Probably closer to 10,000 Americans. And as a reminder, the State Department told them in April, get out ASAP. So you might have 10 to 15,000 Americans there. I'm guessing 8. But there's absolutely no basis, no rationale for that guess. That's just what I'm guessing. And I'm always right. So it's 8,000 Americans. Let's just settle that right now. Judges are not in yet this morning. Sunday. What are you going to do? Which is weird because Saturday is the Sabbath. And since 4 of my 5 judges are Jewish, you would think show up on the Sunday. No, not going to happen this morning. All right. Yeah. Just my brain just came to a grinding halt. It just went into neutral. Like when you're first learning to drive a stick. Okay, first, now hold on the clutch, go to second. Okay, you're at 30, 35 miles an hour. Now press the clutch. That's what happened in my brain right at that time.
A lot of people also that deserve to...
Something about Afghanistan. I know that. That's what we were talking about. And then the judges wouldn't confirm what I said. Oh, yeah. 8,000 people. 8,000 people. 8,000 Americans. Let's say 10, 15, whatever the number is. I had a point. Moving on.
Time. Taliban, great negotiators. Tough fighters, great negotiators. Got 45,000 people.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. A ton of those people chose to stay, knowing So here's the thing. Not only did Biden believe, and much of the U.S. intelligence believed, that the Afghan government would last longer than a week, and the Afghan army that we've equipped with all this equipment, et cetera, it's redundant, but it's not, that they would last longer than a couple of days, certainly more than a few hours. Not only did they think that, but the vast majority of Americans who were on the ground living in Afghanistan, they thought that too. They had the opportunity to get out in April. They've had the opportunity to get out all along, of course. They had the opportunity in the last 11 days before Kabul fell to get out. They could see what was happening around the country. Before that, for months, provinces have been toppling one after the other. And keep in mind, Afghanistan isn't really a country per se. The British put it together and said, okay, you guys are Afghanistan. Same thing they did with Iraq. Same thing. The British colonialism is really to blame for all of this. But let's blame Trump instead.
You got a lot of people also that deserve to be helped, and they're not going to let them be helped at all. This is going to go on for a long time. This is a great stain on the reputation of our country. Going into the...
Yeah, there's some serious wigs going on back there. But this is the same guy who was saying just a year ago, Taliban made a deal, we're good to go. And now he's saying, no, that we should have stayed. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. People deserve to be helped, blah, blah, blah. Did he say go back in? I don't even know. Here's Trump again. Here's some more, a little more.
You're never going to see those 45,000 people.
Okay.
That's gone in hasn't been so good. And you know what? We have to go in, and we should go in when it's right. And we now may have to be forced to go in because this person that is running our country made a horrific decision of taking all of our powerful...
Holy crap, guys. Can you see this? Let me see. Look at this. There he is. Over on the right side here. Blacks for Trump guy is there. I told you, if you're African American and you show up at a Trump rally, you get to sit right behind. They want some diversity. You scan back to the regular crowd, the nobodies sitting down below, you're going to see nothing but a whitewash. But yeah, blacks for Trump, they get behind him every time.
Military out, we may be forced to go in. And we may not be forced, but we may be forced to go in. And if you're not prepared...
He always covers his bases that way. And it's definitely going to happen. And it may not happen, but it's definitely going to be happening.
Prepared to go in, you're never going to...
Stephanie says, thank you for the bit of information. I did not know, and this should help with YouTube. Hint, hint, YouTube. I don't even know what the bit of information was. But thank you, Stephanie, for pointing that out. Can I turn up the volume on Trump? Yeah, I did. Hopefully he's good now.
See those 45,000 people again. That I can tell you. If they don't think you're...
There's nowhere near 45,000 Americans there. That number gets bigger. A couple of days ago when Trump was talking about it, it was 30,000. Now it's 45,000. And that's just how numbers work with Trump.
Prepared to go in. You're never going to see, again, whether it's 10 or 45,000 people.
It's 10.
You'll never see him again. That's gone in.
Okay. Let's go down a little bit farther down on ASIN and see if there's anything else here.
The Taliban, I must be honest with you.
But
he's reimposing back. Could you imagine if I were president and the virus was surging back?
Yes, I can imagine that. And the virus is surging back largely because of you. Largely because your followers and African Americans are refusing to get the vaccine. And when I say African Americans, I mean your followers who are African Americans, like the Black for Trump guy. Looking at your audience there, I would say that half the people that vote for you are African American. Therefore, I'm going to blame that on you as well.
It would be, she said it wouldn't be. It wouldn't come back. Yeah.
What?
That one's actually...
Hold on, I got to go back because I don't know what's going on.
Could you imagine if I were president and the virus was surging back? It would be, she said it wouldn't be. It wouldn't come back. Yeah.
Like KK Macaroni said, President Trump will not allow the virus into the United States.
That one's actually tougher than the Taliban, I must be honest with you. but he's reimposing mask mandates and threatening new restrictions on the American people. Could you imagine?
Okay. Well, that's what that was. I actually heard this part right here.
People are despondent about the voter fraud
This
election.
is funny. This is Mo Brooks, who's running for, he's a congressperson. He's running for senator in Alabama. He suggests here that the voters at the Trump rally put 2020 in the rearview mirror and move on and make sure that we vote next time around. They do not like it.
There are some people who are despondent about the voter fraud and election theft in 2020. Folks, put that behind you. Put that behind you. Yes.
Boo.
Look forward.
Boo.
Look forward. Look forward.
No, they're not screaming no. They're screaming Mo because they just love that idea of moving on with their lives.
Beat them in 2022.
Mo.
Beat them in 2024. All right. Well, look back at it, but go forward and take advantage of it.
What a turnaround. What a complete 180. All right, we need to move on. Boo. Okay, let's not move on, but let's move on. Let's do exactly what we're doing. Yeah.
We've got to win in 2022. We've got to win in 2024. That's what
he is running for Senate in 2022. He needs people to show up in 2022. He needs the base. He calls himself Mega Mo Brooks. He needs them to show up in 2022 to win Alabama. Because if you remember last time, Roy Blunt was running in Alabama, and it didn't go so well for the Republicans. And we ended up with a Democratic. No, wait, was that South Carolina? It was South Carolina. Never mind. No, Alabama's deep red. Okay, what else? Is that it? That's all of the. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. Wait, is this not in order? Why? They're not. Twitter's not giving it to me in order. Let's go back. There's Asen. Hi, Asen. Excuse me. He's an internet hooligan, apparently. Okay. Here we go. So here's another one.
in your freedoms. I do. You got to do what you have to do. But
so this is probably going to be about the vaccines. Trump always says take the vaccine because it's my vaccine, but also have your freedoms. Your freedoms are so important. I don't know that freedoms is necessarily good pluralized. Freedom is just, it's like vaccine. You could use it either as a plural or a singular, but don't take singular, by the way, to cure coronavirus. It is not a cure. However, anything that a horse takes, logically, will get rid of it for you.
days, less than 9 months, and it's great. And you know what? I believe totally in your freedoms. I do. You got to do what you have to do. But I recommend take the vaccines. I did it. It's good. Take the vaccines. But you got, no, that's okay. That's all right. You got your freedoms. But I have.
They're booing the vaccine. They're booing the vaccine.
9 months. And
it's his vaccine. They're booing the vaccine.
It's great. And you know what? I believe totally in your freedoms. I do. You got to do what you have to do. But I recommend take the vaccines. I did it. It's good. Take the vaccines. But you got, no, that's okay. That's all right. You got your freedoms. But I happen to take the vaccine. If it doesn't work, you'll be the first to know, okay? I'll call up.
What? That's not really an endorsement. If it doesn't work, you'll be the first to know. Not if they don't have the vaccine, they won't.
Alabama will say, hey, you know what? But it is working. But you do have your freedoms. You have to maintain that. You have to maintain that. And you got to get your kids back to school.
Just so wishy-washy. Never has there been a more wishy-washy president. Okay, moving down, more ASIN. Okay, can you imagine if the virus came surging back? Virus. Here we go. Here's something
a man who
we haven't
puts
seen.
His guts into everything.
Here we go.
A patriot, a wonderful man.
Patriot? What's a patriot? Honestly, sometimes when Trump is reading from the teleprompter, he sounds like an idiot.
A man who puts his guts into everything, a man that they don't treat properly. He's smart. He loves his country so much. He's willing to die for this country. I watched him over the last week at his symposium, which was really amazing. Some of the people he had were incredible, incredible people. Mike Lindell. Mike.
By the way, remember Mike was supposed to release the evidence finally. That was going to make it 100% absolute proof that the election was stolen and Trump was going to be reinstated. That's what was supposed to happen at the symposium. Never happened.
True. I'll tell you true. It's true. He had some people up there really, I mean, they were scientists. They were political scientists and beyond, and they were incredible what they said and what they understand. Also,
No, none of it was incredible. I mean, it was incredible anybody would think what they thought, but no, it was just nonsense. We watched the symposium. Okay, here we go.
the sheer power of American pride and America, we will defeat it with the sheer power of American pride and American brain.
He sounds like he was gonna say Bran and then changed to brain. I don't know what he's talking about here. I'm assuming the coronavirus. I don't know. You guys maybe saw it. Yay,
We
American
will
brain.
defeat it with the sheer power of American pride and American brain.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing coronavirus. I have no idea. Anybody know? Okay. Okay, here we go.
And people said, that's not nice. They all like to call it a Muslim thing. I took a lot of heat over that travel ban. People said, that's not nice. They all like to call it a Muslim ban. It wasn't a Muslim ban. It was a travel ban from...
No, he said on his website, and it was taken down before the election, it's a Muslim ban. And then 2 days after he was elected, it came back up again on his website. It's a Muslim ban.
A lot of different countries that are banned.
And for a long time, he was saying, no, you don't call it a ban. Don't call it a... And then suddenly he was like, you call it a ban, call it whatever you like.
And they send bad people to us.
Now it's just a ban, this travel ban.
And because of the travel ban, we didn't have to accept that. So it was a thing. I took a lot of heat over.
Just banned everybody because someone might be a terrorist because they're Muslim. Okay. Here we go.
And a very wise judge said, we're allowed to have stay in Mexico.
Going back.
But you know what happened? Yesterday, we won in court, and a very wise judge said, we're allowed to have stay in Mexico. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Judge.
And then
You know what happened?
wasn't it last night the Supreme Court said, no stay in Mexico. Let's hold on that because Mexico has to agree to it. A very wise judge. Oh, please. So we haven't heard the end of the stay in Mexico thing, but there's also within the court system, there is also a matter of practicality. For example, the Supreme Court, sitting Supreme Court, 6-3 conservative, and some of the liberals said, oh, no, eviction moratorium, not really a thing that the federal government should be doing. But we're not going to overturn it right now because it expires at the end of the month. We don't want to create that chaos. Same thing like they did with DACA. It's like, well, we don't know that it's necessarily constitutional, but the way that it was implemented, the turning around of DACA was done so sloppily that we can't just throw it out right now. That's not fair to the people. So there's a certain measure of practicality, and there's a Latin term for it that eludes me at the moment. But jurisprudence has its own little things. It doesn't mean that one is right or one is wrong, which is why now all of the Republicans are saying that Biden, by extending the eviction ban, or well, call it a ban, call it a moratorium, call it whatever you like. I call it the Wuhan moratorium. That Trump violated the Constitution, that it was unconstitutional. No, until the Supreme Court actually declares it unconstitutional, It's not unconstitutional, but it is unconstitutional anyway. So there's that gray area within the Supreme Court and within our Constitution because it's silly. What else we got? The COVID vaccine, we covered that already. We talked about that already. Taliban, great negotiators. Okay, let's.
Turns to shit, okay?
Okay, I apologize for the language.
Everything woke turns to shit, okay? It's true. It's true. Look at what's happening.
Boy, I wish someone had never come up with woke. I just hate the term. I'm woke. No, you're not. You're awoken. Let's awaken everybody. Like use otherwise it becomes a thing, and it has become a thing, and everybody's all woke and blah blah blah. Anyway, the concept fantastic. Learn about history. Get rid of the whitewash that we all have in our history books. And unfortunately, Texas decides much of what is taught in the schools throughout the country because a whole bunch of states depend on the Texas School Book Repository to. Okay, Taliban, great negotiators. We saw that. Trump on the Delta variant. This is from Asen retweeted Aaron. Let's listen to this, see what he has to say about this.
He didn't stop the virus, you know? They say, oh, he gets wonderful.
He didn't stop the virus.
Marks. He doesn't get good marks. He's done a terrible job, including on vaccinations, including on everything else. And now the virus is back.
Because Trump has refused to come out and say, get the vaccine, all my followers. Come on, everybody, get the vaccine. Now, well, I'll go into that later. Or not.
The virus is back. I'm shaking hands with everybody backstage. I say, well, I don't know. Is this a good thing or bad? You'll read about it in 3 or 4 days, maybe. Hopefully not.
That he has the virus again?
He didn't stop
that
the virus,
actually, if Trump catches the virus again, that would be fantastic. Not that he would die from it. You know, he may die, he may not. But if he gets very sick, very fantastic. Because that... Great. I just gave myself COVID. That's how quickly karma works. Because then a whole bunch of his followers will start taking it seriously. It is only now that we see an upsurge in the reception of vaccinations in the southern states because the hospitals are full. There's no more ICU beds available in Alabama. In fact, they're at minus 27 ICU beds in Alabama. And that's what it takes to shock people into the, well, here's a whole bunch of 33-year-olds that are dying and kids in the hospital. Might as well get that vaccine now. It's still not at the rate we need it to be. But Trump has been vaccinated, so he'll probably be okay. And you know what? If he gets it, I don't even know if it'll be reported.
And it didn't have to happen. And it didn't have to happen. All he had to do is leave the soldiers there until everything's out. Our citizens, our weapons. Then you bomb the hell out of the bases. We have 5 bases. And you say...
But that was never the plan with Trump anyway. Again, Trump spent $52 billion a year in Afghanistan. As far as the calculations that I have, because 2020 is an estimate, we don't have the final numbers on 2020 yet. Trump spent $216 billion in Afghanistan. Much of that arming and training the Afghan army, helping the government, rebuilding the infrastructure. Trump spent that money. Trump had 4 years to pull out of Afghanistan. Instead, he passed the buck. Why the army that Trump has been training for the last 4 years folded and ran away? Who knows? Who knows? So that's on Trump. Let's go back. And here is Trump pushing the big lie.
We did have a rigged election. Dewey Howe is terrible.
Oh, I heard this. This is right off the very beginning.
Rigged election. Dewey Howe is terrible. Terrible.
We did have a rigged election. Dewey beats Truman. That is true. Rigged election.
We did have a rigged election. Dewey Howe is terrible. Terrible. And you look at what's going on now.
Dewey Howe was terrible. If there's one politician that I cannot stand, it's Dewey Howe.
Dewey Howe is terrible. Terrible.
Of the law firm Dewey, Scrum, and Howe. At random says something. Let's read it. I was just reading an interview with an author of The Kite Runner, and he was saying that prior to the Russian invasion, Afghanistan was quite liberal. Women wearing miniskirts, educated careers, and then the CIA funded the Mujahideen in order to repel the Soviets, and then we end up with the Taliban. But the Taliban's been around for 27,000 years. Could be 45,000, could be 10, could be 1994. There's no way to know. Liberty says, more so, they know how to manipulate and use buzz terms that offer comfort. I'm guessing you're talking about the Republicans. There's Mo. We might have run out of things from yesterday. Let's see. Asen.
It's these.
Asen tweeted yesterday from Jim Acosta. It's 29 seconds long. Here we go.
But I digress. The pictures of Afghans clinging to military planes are not what riles up the Fox audience. It's these images.
See the difference? Those are people not getting onto the plane. These are brown people inside the plane.
Of Afghans loaded onto those planes.
Is it really our responsibility to welcome thousands of potentially unvetted refugees from Afghanistan? All day we've heard phrases like, we promised them. Well, who did? Did you?
We did.
I digress.
That is the government of the United States, and we are the government of the United States. And we tell people, hey, you help us out, and we will help you out when the time comes. Want to go to America? Well, Trump has really cut back on the immigration, so you're not going to get in that way. There's no more lottery, essentially, so you're not going to get in that way. Chain migration, forget it. Not going to get in that way. What used to be called family migration. Yeah, you can't get in. Oh, you know what you could do, though, is risk life and limb and the life and limb of all your friends and family. Help us out here. Just help us find these mines, help us translate, help us interpret, etc., and we'll get you out. That's a promise. No man left behind, or woman, or dog. They don't actually take dogs. I didn't see any dogs on that flight, and that's really what angers me there. The clip is longer and gets better. Okay, well, let's see if we can find it here. Let's go to Jim Acosta, see if we can find the whole clip. Jim Acosta. Go video, and he posted it himself. Jim Acosta is a treasure. Okay, so here's a minute and 20 seconds left.
Or as another pro-Trump propagandist put it, raise your hand if you want this plane landing in your town.
Jesus.
I can think of somebody raising her hand. Anybody ever heard the line, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free? America has a long and proud history of welcoming.
Quiet. Remember, Stephen Miller on a Sunday morning talk show said, yeah, but did you know that poem was placed after the Statue of Liberty was already there? Oh, well, that invalidates it then, because it wasn't put up at the same time as the statue was erected.
Refugees from war-torn countries. The Statue of Liberty has always symbolized that beacon of hope to the world. That has always...
Yeah, but the poem was put there at a different time, so it doesn't count.
It's been the American...
You know what? I think that was actually Stephen Miller on the podium at the White House, and I think he was talking to... might have been Jim Acosta. It might have been Jim. I think it was a CNN reporter. It might have been Jeff. It might have been Jim. Could have been Peter Alexander, but I think Peter would have snapped back immediately with the follow-up question, does that invalidate it? I think it was Jim.
Way. Yes, there are Afghans who did come to our aid in Afghanistan. They did help us fight the war against Osama bin Laden. Yes. Some, in fact, did fight for their country and died for their country. We can't leave them behind.
Well, fact check, we can leave the dead ones behind. That is something we can and should do. Do not want to bring the corpses.
The images out of Afghanistan are hard to look at. There's no question about it. Perhaps that's to be expected when you try to end what's been called the forever war. But if we want to end that forever war, if we really want to get home from Afghanistan, I know of one light showing us the way. And we'll be right back.
Okay, that was nice. Look out. Yeah, but Laura Ingraham, etc., etc. They just don't want refugees. And remember, Trump made it incredibly difficult for the people of Afghanistan who were helping us in our goals, whatever those were. He was making it incredibly difficult for people to get the special immigration visas. Why? Just because Stephen Miller said so. Whatever Stephen Miller said, really, Stephen Miller was running this government for a while. Out of all of the Trump's advisors that we know of, Stephen Miller was the guy who stuck around through the entire thing. Everybody else came and went. Kellyanne Conway, etc., they all had their moment, and then they left. Stephen Miller beginning to end. And now he's part of this whole America First law firm or something. That's the guy you've experienced someone like him in your life and nobody likes him. And then he eventually ends up with a girlfriend or gets married and you're like, what does she say? Why? I don't know. And that should give us hope because that tells us there is someone for everyone. Because if Stephen Miller can get himself a lady, I mean, come on. Everyone's got something, I guess, that people are attracted to. Okay, what else this morning? Should we take a look at some okay, let's pull up is there anything else from the Trump rally that we should be looking at? If not, we'll move on to some we'll move on to some Sunday morning feature futures. Let's see if I can pull that up. This is, what's this from? Your World with Neil Cavuto. That's probably from yesterday. Let's go to the library and let's pull up a little bit of Maria Bartiromo. Fox News Sunday. Let's see what they talked about. Let's see who's on Fox News Sunday before we venture on. Let's see. Journalist Chris Wallace covers. Go ahead. Who we got? Waiting. Keep the beat.
With my credit score? 100,000 weapons.
Weapons.
And joining us now, the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken. Mr. Secretary, welcome back.
Should we watch Blinken? Who else we got? So they're going to have somebody in from the other side. Blinken's there for like 10, 15 minutes. That's somebody on the ground. Who is it? Hold on. Is that a Fox reporter or is that usually they go with somebody from the other side? Let's see who this is.
Republican Senator Ben Sasse.
Oh, it's
Senator,
Ben Sasse. Okay, Ben Sasse is one of the sane ones. Doesn't necessarily vote the way he should be voting, but he is one of the sane ones. Then they got their Sunday morning panel. Nobody cares. Bunch of pundits. Don't know who that is. Yeah, we can watch Blinken, or we can move on to Sunday morning features because she will have nothing but crazies there. Unless I see someone in the chat room saying, please, Blinken, we'll move right on to the crazies. Okay, let's go to the crazies. Here we go. Now we got to go back here, go to library, go down, scroll down. There we go. Okay, it wants us to watch the BBC World News instead. Sorry, I don't make the decisions here, apparently. Now, oh, here we go. Okay, right. 2 hours ago. These are just fresh wounds.
From us now. Go to church. Have a good day.
I don't know if anyone has done sort of a final COVID count of people who went to church and died getting COVID at a church. Even at the beginning of the virus, there were multiple outbreaks, multiple churches around the country, and people died.
Good Sunday morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Welcome to Sunday Morning Futures. I'm Maria Bartiromo. Hostage to the newly armed Taliban. $80+ billion worth of sophisticated American weaponry left on the ground, now in the hands of terrorists. Coming up, what went wrong and can we recover? This week, Americans in Afghanistan getting beaten up.
I just don't think my laptop can handle the video, so it's going to be a little bit choppy. Sorry.
Trying to get out of the country. Passports being confiscated. Taliban soldiers going door to door to target anybody who helped the U.S. and Afghan forces.
Well, we should get them to hell out, don't you think, Laura Ingraham?
New reports now surface that ISIS has returned to the terrorist haven of Afghanistan.
ISIS never left the terrorist haven, and ISIS is more over the internet now than it is in any particular country.
Coming up, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on the way out.
Okay, cool.
Plus, the world is watching, but Joe Biden claims there is no impact to America's power and credibility on the world stage.
What's your message to America's partners around the world who have criticized not the withdrawal? But the conduct of that withdrawal and made it.
All right, somehow I managed to turn my mic off. What I was saying, and I was like, I was getting mad at you guys because I'm like, what was the name of Jordan Klemper's show? Jordan Klemper had a show on Comedy Central, all of his own, that was on after the Daily Show for a while. Larry Wilmer's show was canceled too quickly. Unfortunately, nobody watched it because it started out as sort of a show highlighting racism, which just isn't the Comedy Central audience, so it never found its footing. And it started sort of the same time as the Trevor Noah took over the Daily Show, so you had a whole bunch of people going, "Oh, I miss Jon Stewart," and not watching anymore. Plus, you were morphing. Comedy Central was going through the YouTube versus app versus watching actual television in real time collapse that the networks saw in general. The bottom line is Larry Wilmore's show became very, very good. And he is now, I believe he's got a show on Peacock. I hope that show is still around. Larry Wilmore is a gem. And a comic genius. He has been involved in so many projects. You don't even know his name, but he's in the background of them. So I wish Larry nothing but the best. And then at some point we had a show by Jordan Klemper, and it was so clever, and the writing was so fantastic. And I believe several of the writers who were involved in the Colbert Report also were involved in but I don't know that to be a fact. I think I heard that at some point somewhere. But I was asking you guys, what was the name of Jordan Klemper's show? It wasn't The Resistance. It wasn't The Holdout. It wasn't, it was something, it was The Something, but he was again playing a character, an anti-liberal character. It's not called Klemper or Klepper or Klemper, because that's not his name. That would be very clever of them. No, it was called The Opposition. There, at random got it. The Opposition. And Ruth Ann got it as well. The Opposition with Jordan Klepper, 2017 to 2018. Yeah, the writing on that show got to be so clever. It was Colbert-esque in its genius. Just the general diction that they used on a regular basis. I was watching the other day where they did something clever, super clever. I forget. Anyway. Oliver, John Oliver. They did something yesterday, or the last show they did something, or just like, yes, That's so clever because I thought of it. At random, it was really good. It was fantastic. Jordan should have a show somewhere. HBO, Showtime, Peacock. If you're listening, no, not Peacock. Get somewhere with an audience. Jordan Klepper deserves his own show somewhere. Let's see. Is Larry Wilmore's show still on? Hold on. Let's pull it up. We can do that. We have the technology. Is this where we can see it? Yeah, it is. Okay. Larry Wilmore. Let's take a deep dive into Larry Wilmore here. Alistair. I didn't know his first name wasn't Larry. It's Alistair. Filmography. Here we go. And okay, so that's film, television. So he was on the Facts of Life. He was in Sledgehammer. Do you guys remember Sledgehammer? He was on 2 episodes of Sledgehammer, and I'm wondering if JoJo's dad wrote those episodes because he wrote episodes of Sledgehammer. He was in Sister Sister. He was in the PJs. He was Mr. Brown on The Office. These are all roles. The Daily Show, of course, he was the senior black correspondent on The Daily Show for years. 78 episodes of that. How I Met Your Mother. He was Dr. Greer on that. So Love Bites, Happy Endings, Instant Mom. I haven't even heard of that one, but he's been in so many quality projects. Of course, he did the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Very uncomfortable White House Correspondents' Dinner, but he was very good. The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore, 2015, 259 episodes, should still be on the air. Have I seen the Klepper Show with Roy Wood? No, I have not. And we can't watch that because anything involving Comedy Central, we will get a copyright strike immediately. He was on The Mayor in 2017. Green Eggs and Ham. Okay, so 2020, Wilmore. Just the name of the show is Wilmore. Just let's look it up and see if it's still in production on Peacock. Wilmore Show. Peacock Wilmore wraps up late night Peacock series. So this is December 4th of 2020. Eyes New Projects. Larry Wilmore is beginning his Evanescence late night Peacock show to an end tonight. Oh, sticking with his promise to finish it after 11 episodes. Okay, so I guess he just said, I'm going to do 11 episodes of this. Good for you, Larry. I did catch a couple of episodes of it, and I'm not even sure how because Peacock is this sort of ethereal. Do I have it? Can I get it? Does it cost money? Is it free? I have Xfinity, so is it free for I don't know. Anyway, so he did 11 episodes and is on to new projects. So, Larry, if you're watching, good luck. So he created the Bernie Mac show, which is a fantastic show. And then he was involved with Insecure, Grownish, and what else? Anyways, he's done a bunch of stuff. Okay, so he launched the show in 2020, the Wilmore Show, to have an important conversation about the issues defining 2020, and it was surreal is not the right word. It was just odd because it was done in the middle of the pandemic, and so adjustments were made. Were the guests remote? Were they in-house? All those questions had to be answered. And now it's weird because here we are again heading to another height of the coronavirus, and everybody's got in-studio guests, and it's just all back to normal, and they're not wearing masks. And that being said, you can't test your way out of this. Yeah, you pretty much can. Marcy says, I just learned Hawaii has wild wallabies, and I feel this is very important information. It is very important information. Judges, are you awake? Sorry, no bell on that one, but they should be digging the hell out of that. We'll watch the Klepper Roy Wood interview some other time, but we can't do it live on the air. So speaking of live on the air, I very seriously want to do. Usually we do Friday night movie night, but I very seriously want to do the Ted Lasso talk, and I'll see if I can get a couple of people in the industry or something to come on with us as well, and maybe one or two of you if you're willing to show your face on camera. Do a Google Meet. We'll broadcast it live. as part of this binge club idea that I've been working on for eons. And when I say working on, I thought about it. Because Ted Lasso has gotten so good, so incredibly amazing, I'd like to do that on Friday nights, and then go into movie night after that. But we'll work on that. But if anyone has ideas for who would be willing to come on a show like that, and maybe we do a couple of shows, and just to get people's feedback on it, and then see if it takes off. You never know, but it should. Also, YouTube, if you could monetize me again, that would really give me a lot more incentive to do more than just think about ideas. To get people to watch things on YouTube to bring an audience. You know what? I was just occurred to me. It may be they might look at this and say, well, he's broadcasting on multiple platforms. Why should we support something like that? That being said, so does David Packer, so does Hal Sparks, etc. I was watching David Packer last night, and I guess it was his 16th anniversary broadcast. He did the Trump rally live as well. And just money hand over foot. That being said, he's been doing it for 16 years. And I think he was one of the original liberals on YouTube. So good for him. But he was naming off like new sponsors and new people signing up on Twitch and all the other stuff. And I was so jealous. But I love the fans that we have here. You guys are all super wonderful, fantastic. No, seriously, you are. I'm literally doing this broadcast on Marcy's older laptop. We were just watching At Random's YouTube feed. So, yeah, I have nothing to complain about. I just wish there were more of you. And by that, I mean, have some ice cream for lunch, guys. Really bulk up so there's more of everyone. Anne says, yes, this is the behind the scenes video podcast I was speaking of. This also has his partner on the viewpoint of whether Jordan with on the spot comebacks just clever. On watching Jordan with on the spot comebacks, just clever. Yeah. It's a podcast with Roy Wood about behind the scenes. Oh, it's a podcast. It's a podcast. Hold on. Did you send it to me already at random? Let me see if I can dig that up. Where's this? Hold on. Let me go to the Twitters. You guys can watch this while I do this.
So, Larry.
Yes, Larry.
Okay, so we got this brand new late night show coming to Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
Where we're finally going to have those conversations that America says they want to have right now.
About time.
Completely. Title for our new late night show. Go.
Okay.
Oh, so you're finally ready to talk about race with Larry Wilmore? Bit on the nose.
I'll stop talking when it stops happening with Larry Wilmore.
You actually think you're going to stop talking? What the did he just say?
With Larry Wilmore.
Not very peacocky. No.
Not very peacocky. I stopped looking for what I was looking for, but I'm enjoying the trailer.
No, what the hell's going on?
With Larry Wilmore.
Well, I mean, it doesn't not work.
I don't know. I'm getting told for this. With Larry Wilmore.
Yes. Let me try that one on.
You like that, huh?
Actually, the show's just called Wilmore, a brand new late night special series. New episodes every Friday. Stream for free.
Okay, well, that was good. I like that. Hold on. Okay. I was going to say, here's something with Trump. We could watch that. It's this broadcast. Let's watch this broadcast as we go here. See what happens. Okay. I was going to say, here's something with Trump. We could watch that. It's this broadcast. Let's watch this broadcast as we go here. See what happens. Okay. I was going to say, here's something with Trump. We could watch that. It's this broadcast. Let's watch this broadcast. I'm just going to leave this running. See what happens. I like what's happening so far. So if you haven't seen Bo Burnham's Outside or Inside, more likely Inside, because that's the name of it. I like what's happening so far. There's a very clever part similar to this. This is not clever. So I'm just letting this run. Bo Burnham's Outside or Inside, more likely Inside. I don't know what happens now. I don't know what you guys are going to see. If this is just going to repeat itself over and over again, let's find out. Because that's the name of it. I like what's happening so far. There's a very clever part similar to this. This is not clever.
So
I'm just letting this run.
Bo Burnham's outside or inside. What? More likely.
Okay, my brain is completely melted now. Hold on a second. Let's see who's sending me what here. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Why are people bothering me? I can't use that at random. You got to send it to me over the Facebook or something. I can't. That's on my phone. I can't translate it anywhere else. But it's YouTube anyway, so we can't watch it because YouTube. Okay, guys. I think that's. Oh, we hit an hour. An hour. I think that's enough of a broadcast for a Sunday morning. So everybody have a good day. Maybe we'll see you later today. I don't know. I didn't set up the whole studio because there's another house showing today, and that's good. So things are happening. I hope things good are happening for you. If you're over on the East Coast, stay dry. And if you're over on the West Coast, I hope you get some water because the forest fires are still doing their things. Okay, guys, be good to yourself, be good to others, and most importantly, be good to me.